Scarlett JoHansson might be the Batman #2's real Two-Face. Yeah. So basically the article covers speculation that I was hoping could be avoided, but I don't know. It's looking like this might be the case. So new casting chatter suggests Scarlett Johansson's role in the Batman part #2 may be far bigger and darker than originally thought, and that she indeed might actually be Two-Face. This is a terrible mistake, a terrible idea, but more than likely what they're going to do. You had a crappy first Batman movie, then you had a brilliant Penguin series, and now you're going to come back with crap for the Batman #2. So Jeff Snyder on the Hot Mic podcast says sources indicate Mrs. Dent, Gilda Dent, would have a larger role than Harvey Dent in the sequel. If that's the case, it isn't a stretch to think Mrs. Dent having a larger role would be Two-Face. Yeah, that's a problem. Also recall how director Matt Reeves has said the villain hasn't been done before. So, meaning there hasn't been a female Two-Face. Wow, how groundbreaking. Yeah. Earlier reports linked Johansson to Gilda Dent, Harvey's wife, but Snyder's latest info hints that her character may be more central than previously believed. In the Batman Earth 1 graphic novel, Harvey Dent has a twin sister named Jessica Dent. Jessica becomes mayor of Gotham and later takes on a Two-Face-like identity after her own personal crisis. Yeah, Harvey Dent gets his face burned off, and as he's dying, his sister freaks out, breaks down, and then hugs him, burning her face while his face is burning. And so she becomes Two-Face, taking on aspects of her brother's aggressive personality and stuff like that. But it played into that. They're twins and the duality and everything. So that's what they were doing in that, alternate universe story. Okay, but for your movie franchise, this is a terrible idea. So if Reeves is drawing from Earth 1, Johansson could be playing Jessica Dent instead of Gilda. Well, but Snyder's already said Gilda Dent, Harvey's wife. So, and then he says, or some combination of both. Ew. Giving her a path that leads directly to villainy without the traditional Harvey Dent arc. So I suppose you would have Gilda become Two-Face instead of Harvey in this one. Now, in the Long Halloween, Harvey Dent's tragic fall into becoming Two-Face is one of the story's core arcs. The comic also gives Gilda Dent a surprising twist. She's implied to be the original holiday killer, secretly murdering mobsters in hopes of giving Harvey a better wife, adding a darker layer to her character. Reeves could also be loosely adapting part of the story for the Batman part #2. Well, if you keep it like that, where she's basically this serial killer, along with her husband becoming Two-Face, then okay. But I doubt it. Under this scenario, we can assume that Johansson's character starts strong, possibly as a Dent family figure that with influence in Gotham. Her fall into Two-Face could be the emotional backbone of the sequel. Matt McClone's a big fan of the first Batman movie. I am not. And I guess he's really hoping this works out, but I don't see how you can argue that. Even more than Harvey's arc, Harvey Dent himself might be a supporting figure or even held back for another movie in Reeves' planned universe. Yeah, no, that's not how that works. This twist would also explain why Scarlett Johansson was given the role, as she is a bigger name Hollywood star. Yeah. You see the problem, how many times we got to go through this. Even if you do have a compelling narrative and story and all that sort of thing, there is no patience for anything that even remotely resembles anything woke. However unfair it might be in some circumstances. And here, I don't know how you argue it isn't, but however unfair you do it, if people get a whiff of wokeness in your movie or TV show, it's dead on arrival. So this is a bad idea. I don't care who plays the role. It's a terrible idea. Now, her being gilded dead and going through all that and desperate to be with her husband so that she becomes the holiday killer or something like that. Wouldn't be able to capture that the way the comic book does because it's this long-winded thing and you go through the different holidays of the year and all that. So a series, an HBO series might be, maybe if they were doing something like that where you spin off Scarlett Johansson's Gilded Dent into a series like Penguin, and she's bumping off these monsters. I don't know if she might just only want to do movies and that sort of thing, but I doubt they're planning that unless the Batman Part 2 really hits big. But odds are, knowing the way Hollywood is and the way things, have they learned their lesson? No. And like I said, like the rest of the movie's fine. Batman's the hero and all that sort of stuff. But in the end, like I said, just a whiff of wokeness, and you doom the movie. So, terrible idea. If true, one can hope that it isn't, but man, I don't know. This, with the mentioning that she's playing some sort of villainous role, and it's looking like, no, she will be Mrs. Dent. So that gets it closer somewhat. And then you have reminding that Matt Reeves says the villain hasn't been done before. So now if it's the holiday killer, that's true too. There hasn't been a movie featuring the holiday killer, but I don't think they're doing that. So they're probably going to have Scarlett get the Two-Face scars to be Two-Face, And the story would go, yes, a combination of it, to where instead of the twin sister, it's the wife, and she becomes Two-Face after Harvey Dent is probably killed. So that's great, huh? Yeah. That's just fantastic.